In September of 2018, a YouTuber named Colin uploaded a chilling video titled "Exploring Haunted Mansion at Night" to his channel, The Bearded Explorer. His channel is dedicated to urban exploration, where he frequently shares footage of his eerie encounters while exploring various haunted and abandoned buildings throughout the UK. In this particular video, Colin, along with one of his friends, Liv, decided to explore an abandoned mansion known as Westbury House, located in Hampshire, England. According to Colin, Westbury House was originally built in the 18th century as a private estate and was converted into a nursing home in the 1980s. However, it was later revealed that the staff members had been severely mistreating their residents, and as a result, the nursing home was ultimately shut down in 2016. Since then, the mansion has been completely abandoned and has gained a reputation for being haunted. Many explorers and paranormal investigators have reported sightings of ghostly figures, such as a woman crawling through the house and ghostly apparitions of monks walking through the corridors. Despite all this, Colin and Liv set out to explore the haunted mansion in the middle of the night. As the duo started their exploration, they immediately noticed that the building was in a complete mess, with piles of junk and trash scattered everywhere. This indicated that the mansion had sadly fallen victim to looters and squatters. The first few minutes of their exploration went pretty smoothly as they only stumbled upon stacks of old furniture and personal belongings, and it did appear as if they were completely alone inside. However, just moments later, as they were walking through one of the rooms, that's when they encountered something truly disturbing.
There are small brochures here, look.
Oh, look.
Yeah. It's all on the phone. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, look at the old cars.
Alright, you ready for the kitchen? Shh! Did you hear that? Sounded like that fucking xylophone. I can swear I heard it. Fuck this, come on. It's weird.
After hearing the sound of a xylophone, the explorers immediately went towards the room to investigate its source. Unfortunately, they found nothing. To make matters even more disturbing, when Liv initially played the xylophone, he placed the mallet roughly in the middle of the brochure. However, when they went back inside the room, the mallet had mysteriously moved from its original position, confirming that someone or something must have played the xylophone while they were exploring the kitchen. Colin and Liv didn't think too much about this detail and continued their exploration. However, as they were exploring the upper level, they started hearing the noises once again.
That fireplace is absolutely brilliant. What the fucking hell was that?
What the fuck was that?
What the hell was that? Fucking hell. Alright, that was weird. That was really fucking weird.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's go. Let's just get out of this one. Alright, let's take a walk out this way. You believe the amount of stuff that they've got in here? You believe the amount of stuff that they've got in here?
If you look closely at the point when Colin entered the hallway, you can see what appears to be a man's head peeking out of an open door. However, Colin and Liv were completely unaware of this detail at the time. It wasn't until Colin reviewed the footage later that he saw the man peeking out the door. Colin and Liv, oblivious to any of these chilling encounters, continued exploring. However, that's when they encountered something that effectively put an end to their exploration.
Donald Duck. Sounds weird. I keep hearing that banging. Can you hear that banging? I think it's outside. Oh, it's giving me the shits. I really don't like it in here. Have a look in that room at the end. See. That's what I fucking heard the other day. That's what I heard the other day. That door is locked. There's nothing out there. That is where we've just come from. That is the exact same noise I heard the other day.
Fuck that.
After hearing a loud bang coming from a locked door, the duo had no interest in discovering who was on the other side. As a result, they eventually ended their exploration and safely made it out of the mansion. It's still unclear who the man peeking out the door was or whether he intended any harm. However, based on his behavior that night, it's likely he was either a squatter or a homeless individual who simply didn't want anyone inside the mansion. The man initially played the xylophone in an attempt to scare the explorers away. When they didn't leave, he peeked out the door, trying to reveal his presence. But to his absolute shock, the explorers didn't notice him. Finally, the man locked himself inside the room and made loud noises, which effectively sent the explorers out of the mansion. In February of 2024, a YouTuber named Chris Hill uploaded a rather disturbing video titled "Scary Encounter While Exploring Abandoned School" to his channel, Urbex Hill. His channel is dedicated to urban exploration, and he frequently shares footage of his strange and bizarre encounters in various abandoned locations throughout the United States. In this particular video, Chris decided to explore an abandoned school known as Audubon Junior High, situated in Cleveland, Ohio. Constructed in 1922, Audubon Junior High was dedicated to providing high-quality education to the youths of Cleveland. The school was part of a movement to enhance educational opportunities in urban areas. However, over the years, the school experienced a period of decline due to low enrollment numbers, changes in educational needs, and various other key factors. As a result, the school officially closed its doors in 2010 after serving its community for 84 years. Since then, the school has been completely abandoned for nearly 15 years and has become a hotspot for criminal activity. There have been multiple reports of illegal activities and violence in the vicinity. In May 2023, the body of a 16-year-old boy was found behind the school, and the victim had sadly sustained multiple fatal gunshot wounds. Unfortunately, the police have not identified or arrested any suspects related to this crime. However, just 9 months after this tragic incident, Chris decided to explore the abandoned school alone in the middle of the night. As Chris begins his exploration, he immediately notices that the building is in a very rough state, with deteriorating walls and ceilings, along with creepy graffiti and writings written everywhere. During this time, Chris also sets up multiple infrared cameras throughout the building to capture anything he might otherwise overlook. As he ventures further, Chris discovers signs indicating that someone might have been inside the building recently, but he doesn't hear or see anything unusual and continues exploring. However, just moments later, as Chris stepped inside one of the rooms, he suddenly started hearing some pretty bizarre noises, and that's when things started to take a very disturbing turn for Chris.
There's a lot of movement down there. You hear that? It sounds like somebody's down there. What the hell was that? Listen. Yeah, somebody's here. Someone's gotta be here.
After Chris heard the noises, he immediately went towards the noise to investigate its source. But despite searching everywhere, he unfortunately found nothing, and ultimately concluded that the noises must belong to a homeless person living inside the building. Nevertheless, Chris didn't back down and continued with his exploration. However, that's when the infrared camera he'd set up earlier captured something truly unexplainable.
Whoa, look at this. That is really creepy. It's a gym area. It's destroyed in here though. They set a fire right here. It's probably not even vandalism, kids or whatever. It's probably homeless people trying to stay warm during the winter. So they just burn the wood of the floor, I guess. This area has a really weird smell. This area has a really weird smell.
If you look closely at the footage, you can see what appears to be a black shadowy figure running from one side of the window to another. Chris, however, was completely unaware of this detail and was still exploring the building. During this time, Chris stumbled upon a wire that seemed to be placed as a booby trap of some sort. As Chris followed the wire to investigate why it was set up, that's when he made a shocking discovery.
It's like this weird string. Looks like a booby trap. That's weird. String just keeps going all the way down there. This is sketchy though. Look at this string. It just keeps going up. That's weird. Whoa! Fuck, I thought that chair was falling. You know what though? It looks like that chair is being held on by the string. Oh, I'm freaking out. God, that scared the hell out of me.
Disturbingly, the wire appears to be holding up the chair, indicating that if anyone pulled it, the chair would immediately fall, potentially causing serious injuries to the victim. This detail is particularly alarming, considering the school's history of criminal activity. The trap was likely set up by someone with sinister intentions. Chris, upon making this chilling discovery, immediately went upstairs to investigate why anyone would set up such a dangerous booby trap. However, while investigating, that's when Chris encountered something that would completely change the course of his investigation.
This is where that string goes. Listen. Holy shit. Somebody's down there. What the hell was that noise? Wait a minute. This wasn't like this before. I do not remember this being here. Hello? Hello? Okay. I can't remember if this was like this before or not.
It's important to note that the door wasn't blocked by the metal gate when Chris initially approached it. However, when Chris heard the loud bang and went downstairs to investigate, the door was mysteriously blocked by the gate. This indicated that someone or something was definitely inside the building, potentially hiding and waiting to ambush or attack Chris at any given moment. Despite this bizarre discovery, Chris wasn't entirely sure if the door had been blocked before and continued his exploration. However, just moments later, as Chris stepped into one of the rooms, that's when he started hearing voices coming out of an empty room.
It smells weird in here. That's actually kind of creepy to see.
It's evident that a fast whisper can be heard just as Chris was looking at the board. Although it's hard to comprehend what it said, it does sound like the voice said, "He is watching."
That's actually kind of creepy to see.
Despite the creepy voice warning Chris, he didn't hear it at the time. It wasn't until he reviewed the footage later that he heard the voice. Chris, oblivious to any of these bizarre encounters, continued with his exploration. During this time, he stumbled upon a trail of red stains on the floor. Chris followed the trail, which led him to a room with a disturbing sign on the door. By this point, Chris was consumed by fear and anxiety over everything he'd been witnessing, but he didn't back down and eventually entered the room. However, that's when he encountered something that sent him running out of the building.
What the hell? Somebody was Is this real? What the fuck? This can't be real. That is crazy. Oh shit. Yo, there are bullet cases. What was that? What was that? Somebody's in there. Yeah.
As soon as Chris opened the door, he was startled to see a trail of red stains covering the floor. Disturbingly, he also discovered multiple bullet casings right next to the stain. While Chris was trying to comprehend what he was looking at, he suddenly heard a loud bang, and just moments later, he heard a man's voice coming from the room. Chris, terrified for his life, immediately rushed out of the room and managed to escape the building without any harm. It's still unclear who was inside the building with Chris, or whether the person inside was responsible for the tragic incident that happened 9 months earlier to the 16-year-old. After Chris left the building, he immediately called the authorities and reported everything he'd seen inside the school. The school was then secured by the police, and anyone who decides to enter the school will promptly be arrested.